Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Thriller Bark is just one of those arcs that a lot of people just forget about, so let's go into a moment that I think everyone remembers, which is Moria taking Luffy's shadow. Now on the surface, it might seem like there's only two characters important in this scene. Gecko Moria, the main antagonist of Thriller Bark and the user of the Shadow no Mi, and Monkey D. Luffy, our main protagonist. However, throughout the entirety of this arc, it's revealed that Moria is putting the shadows of people into corpses, therefore creating zombies. So in reality, there are three characters in this scene because Luffy's shadow is now its own entity. And we see that the shadows sort of imbue some personality traits into the corpses, making it so that the shadows, even though they're controlled by Moria, have some of the original personality traits. It makes it seem as though Sanji and Zoro aren't actually Sanji and Zoro. There's something entirely new. But this also goes the other way around. During Zoro's fight with Ryuma, we actually see the samurai's own will manifested, even though he's been dead for hundreds of years. What exactly is this will that can live on, even though someone has literally died? We already know that a man is never truly dead until they're forgotten, but if someone can literally come back to life, what does that mean for will as a whole? And the idea of someone coming back into the story in One Piece and literally coming back to life has never been more relevant, with Kuma coming back to save his daughter and beat up the person who's harassed him and destroyed his family for his entire life, with Haki included. And the addition of Haki in this scene absolutely had me blown away. What exactly does this mean about Kuma? Is there something still inherently Kuma inside of him, or is he completely removed from his past self since his humanity was apparently stripped away due to Vegapunk's intervention? What exactly is Kuma at this point, and what is Kuma going to be as the story continues onward? I'm going to try and rationalize what I think it's going to be using an example from another character you guys might not remember. Throughout the beginning of Thriller Bark, Cindry is solely seen as a comic relief character, with a lot of her moments with Hogback getting a lot of laughs in my opinion, and with her having a pretty cool design, it's easy for her to become pretty likable. And then we get hit with this crazy bombshell that Cindry in her former life was constantly being hounded by Hogback, with him being literally obsessed with her. And that entire change in perspective turns her from a pretty fun character to a very immensely depressing reality of what the people in One Piece have to go through when people like Hogback are allowed to do whatever they want. But here's what I think is really interesting about her character. The shadow of the person inside of Cindry and the soul of the remaining victorious Cindry kind of becomes something new, and she's able to go against Hogback's orders, which is seemingly something impossible to do. But because of this remaining will of Cindry inside of herself, she's able to do it. And I think this resonating moment is really, really cool and adds a lot of mystery to what exactly will is in One Piece. But here's what I think is really interesting. The person who lost their shadow, much like Brook, is able to continue being their own person. But when she finally has her shadow returned to her, what is she then? Does she retain the memory of the shadow that was inside of Cindry after having all that pain of being forced to do and follow orders? Or is she just the same exact person who continued following orders and didn't let those bottled up emotions get the best of her? These two people were in very different stages of their lives when they were separated. So what exactly are they when they come back together? Egghead, a place that is literally focused on being a representation of what the world once was, and Thriller Bark, a place with a bunch of zombies who were once alive, are really similar. And I think that this character of Cindry, who is really, really important to the themes of memory, I think she's a really interesting character to look at in regards to this specific arc, and especially what's going on with Kuma right now. Thanks to Dr. Vegapunk, we now know that souls in One Piece actually do have a physical weight to them, being 21 grams, which is actually based on a real scientific study. Due to this physical nature of souls, and even without the revive fruit like Brook, people are able to communicate with the past in a way that's actually meaningful outside of just reading about it. they can physically communicate with it. This could obviously easily apply to Kuma as well. Kuma was forced to become this emotionless robotic shell of a man with these orders that Vegapunk had forced onto him. Why is he still able to have this resonating feeling? What exactly is the thing that keeps Kuma going? Well, it's his treasure. Not any literal gold, but what he treasures most in the world. His faith in the sun god Nika and his love for his family and his daughter. Memory has been a huge theme in One Piece ever since the beginning of the story, because it's all about the individual experiences we all have that make things meaningful to us.
Exactly that, and we talked about it before, because when we were going through Wano, we had seen people not be the biggest fan of Big Mom losing her memory and kind of regressing to a different person. And like, once you take those memories away from someone because of their past experiences, what they went through, it does change who you are. Like the things that you do in your life and the experiences that you make you. So it would make sense as to, like, if she lost her memory of some things, like obviously she would act a certain way differently, and she was like a nice lady and she wanted to take care of Otama, and she was completely different. And I just thought that was so cool to see that side of her, because she is kind of actually insane.
But what I think makes this connection really interesting is the fact that Big Mom has the soul fruit. She's the one person capable of physically interacting with souls on a super easy level. She's able to take away these memories, so it's fitting that her memories would be so easily taken away herself. And we know that Haki can actually continue to linger on after someone has passed when it's put into an object. But what exactly does it mean when someone can literally continue to have their Haki when they are themselves considered an object, possibly? Cindry, when she finally was able to get freed from Hogback's orders, ended her time in the story with a simple smile that reminded Chopper and Robin that she really was in there. And I think this is all building up to Kuma seeing Luffy, seeing the sun god, realizing all this faith he put into Luffy was worth it, actually having emotion show up on his face. This has been built up since the Reverie, in my opinion, with Sabo calling him the gentle Kuma and him having a big smile on his face. So that's where I'm thinking this is all going to go. But what do you think? That's going to be it for me. It's been a long time since I've done a One Piece video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. And let me know what you guys think about the idea of memories and will being super associated, and the themes of this arc and Thriller Bark being more connected than a lot of people realize. Consider sharing this around, because it's been a hot minute since I've made a One Piece video, and I want to try making these more. So any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoyed, take care, and have a good one.